To the Los Angeles Lakers, one of my favorite topics of our podcast this year, and also our NBA Finals pick. Well, things hasn't been going that great in LA. LeBron was out, Westbrook was out briefly, Anthony Davis is out. We'll touch on that later. But I saw a report this week that said the Lakers internally had discussions about trading Russell Westbrook because they feel like he's the reason that the Lakers aren't gelling. Bryce, true or false?
It's probably a little bit both. It's
Okay.
probably, I mean, well, okay, this is the thing. As soon as, like, people have been talking about Westbrook being the problem since before even Westbrook got there.
Right.
Okay, if anybody's not panning out the right way, outside of maybe Anthony Davis, everybody on that team is on the trading block to LeBron James.
Mhm.
That's how I look at it. Everybody, for the most part. So there's probably always talk. There's probably always like, hey, what would you do if we did this kind of thing? That's probably always going on. So you could probably have said this was a rumor for the whole season. People have been talking about Westbrook being the problem the entire time. Anthony, the team not playing well, LeBron being out, Anthony Davis being out, all these new guys coming in, the team learning to play together. It's just a perfect situation for nothing but problems. Um, and Westbrook has been the scapegoat, like I said, the whole time. That's not going to change. We're going to, unless they really do something, we're going to hear that there's a rumor until the trade deadline. That's just the way it's going to be. Nothing like that. They could be winning, and they're probably going to be like, "Oh, there's Westbrook trade rumors." So that doesn't surprise me. It could be true, it could be false, but for the most part, I think we're going to be seeing this kind of thing most of the season. Like I said, until the trade deadline, anyways.
Yeah. It's just fascinating that he's always the lightning rod, no matter what team he's on. I mean, right now he's averaging 19, 7, and 8 as far as production, and his shooting has actually gotten better this year. So on paper, you would say, okay, Westbrooks is having a very good year. But there's something that the Lakers don't like about him or don't seem to like. And they could say it's decision making. I don't know. That's any ball handler is going to turn over the ball. That's just how I look at it. And he's not even leading the league in turnovers this season. But there's something going on there. And I think, like you said, Westbrook is an easy scapegoat. Um, but I think there's more to it than that because of all the players on the team, he still plays defense, and the rest of them don't. So
Well,
there's your
there's another thing we have to take into account, though. If this was anybody else besides Westbrook putting up these kind of numbers and doing what he does and having the attitude and the tenacity and all these things that he brings to the table, if this was anybody else, we'd be asking ourselves what the problem is. Why nobody wants to keep him? Why he's never there for more than a season or two?
mhm.
Because it, like I said, if this is anybody else, we'd be like, there's something else going on there. There's a reason, of course. And if things don't work out in Lakerland, then it's really everybody has to put even a bigger eye on Westbrook because at this point it's probably right for him to get the scrutiny. There's something going on there where he just can't fit. And at this point, it's not all these teams he's been on. It's got to be him. That's the common denominator.
I would never,
I know
ever,
you won't.
ever say anything negative about Russell Westbrook.
That's
It
why I got
will
to be the balance.
it will not come out of my mouth, and you probably can't even see the large smile I have on my face right now. It will not come out of my mouth. And I would love to have Russell Westbrook on my team. And I know you would love to have Russell Westbrook on your team. So I think this take, not from you, but this take from the Lakers is a crock of shit. Now, we're going to go to who I think is the main problem with the Lakers. A guy who just said last week he has nothing left to prove in the NBA, which we can tell by his play this year, is Anthony Davis. Or, as some like to call him, street clothes, who's going to be out for another month at least with a sprained MCL. And the injury was bad. It looked ugly. Wasn't his fault. opposing player crashed into his knee hyperextended. It looked bad. Um, will the Lakers be able to win the championship without Anthony Davis healthy?
No, nope, I don't believe so. Look, 10 years ago with LeBron, Westbrook, and company, it would still be tough with just that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no.
I guess I should have rephrased the question. So let me rephrase it. Good answer though, but let me rephrase it a little bit. Will Anthony Davis ever be 100% healthy with the Los Angeles Lakers? That's the question.
Um, I don't think I don't think Anthony Davis will ever be 100% healthy. I think the best teams can hope for with him is that he can be healthy for the playoffs.
Okay.
I think thinking of him in terms of always being there or a thing. Well, it's never been a thing with him, but it's for sure a thing in the past now as he's getting a little bit up there in age.
Mm,
But if I'm being honest, it feels like there's just way more injuries nowadays, especially on the high use guys, more than ever.
mm,
I mean, last year it seemed like every team was limping into the playoffs for the most part.
right.
Outside of a few exceptions, like the younger teams that surprised people, of course. But I mean, at this point, it's just part of the course for Davis. It's something all the time. And I think a lot of it goes into they're overcautious about him, but then on top of it, he's just always been injury prone. So I at some point, at what point do teams stay away from him because he's getting older and more injury prone? Might hurt his money and stuff a little bit sooner, but it's just always been a thing. And for him to say he doesn't have anything to prove, then that just a lot of guys have that answer, and I don't really know what it means. It's like I guess you're just collecting checks. I get it, but then again, it's like then don't I don't know. I guess just like you see him get passionate when he's out there at certain times or stuff. It's like I don't get it. I just don't get it sometimes. These takes players have, and that's fine. I'm not meant to understand it all, but it's it's just counterintuitive to what the fans and what the team probably wants to hear. Where I want to come out here and win championships every year. I want to do everything I can to be on the court.
Yeah, it's.
So it's disappointing a little bit.
I knew you wouldn't like it. There's a couple of ways that a person could look at it. So, for example, years ago, I would hear players say, I'm not going to quit until I win a championship. And then they go out there on the court and play like ass. Or you see players that say the same thing, but then they go out on the court and give it everything that they have, right? So it's like, okay, now your words are believable. So when you see the way that Anthony Davis has played this year, dude, he's had a couple of good games. And what I mean by that is a couple of forceful games. But the rest of the games is like he's going through motions. So when you have that, with the majority of the games, you look like you're going through motions, and then you make a comment that says, "I have nothing left to prove in this league." Well, now I'm going to believe you. Now I see why you haven't been playing to your full potential because it just seems like you don't give a shit anymore. So I'm going to believe the words that's coming out your mouth right now because I was shocked when he said it. Even if that's the way you feel, don't say it. Because you're already going to get killed by your playing, which he did previously before he got hurt. He was starting to get killed now because people were starting to actually see what we had talked about previously. It's like, this guy's not going full speed anymore. But then
Hmm.
you make a comment like that, and it's just like, bruh, you're not helping yourself out right now. Like you said, in the eyes of the fans, we want to see players give it their all the time.
Yeah,
So it's bad. I hope for the sake of my pick that the Lakers can turn it around, but it doesn't look good right now.
no,
And LeBron James, I don't know what he was referencing. I know he wasn't referencing any players or not, but he actually put out a comment on Twitter or something about how fake people are and stuff. He doesn't like fake people, so I thought that was ironic too. I have no idea what that was in reference to, but I think this is going to be his toughest year as far as getting everyone on the same page with all the personalities that they have. And even Carmelo Anthony, we know he's a leader. He's been playing well, but I haven't heard anything about Melo saying anything in the media as far as what the team needs to do. So
Mhm.
I don't know, man. I don't know what button they have to push to fix it, but I hope they can fix it because it doesn't look good right now. They're sixth in the West. There's a shot, but they cannot fall in that play and expect to win the championship.
No.